Hi everybody, hi Major. So I've posted this video once before and I had some music playing in the background and YouTube didn't like it, and unfortunately they've blocked this video from being shown in America, which is the country where Major sits, and he just simply can't see my entry to his contest. I'm just going to redo this little bit at the beginning quickly, so that we get past the YouTube block. So yeah, Major, his channel is Circle the Square. He asks us to show 4 Desert Island discs, really. Desert Island discs are records that you'd have with you on a desert island. And I guess, the point really being is that you're stranded, so, what would you wish to have, or what would you really want to have with you? Now, there's a real program here in the UK, you may not know this, Major, called Desert Island Discs, and it's like a really long-running radio program where they talk to famous people, celebrities, politicians, sports stars, authors, scientists, whatever, and the program will talk about that person's desert island discs, and I think they get to choose about 7 or 8. Towards the end, they get to choose a book that they would want to have with them, and maybe a luxury item or something like that. And then the last question is always, so you've got your stuff, you've got your records, and your book. There's a big wave come in to wash them all away. Which one record would you save? And so the person being interviewed really has to sort of make up their mind which one they couldn't possibly live without, that sort of thing. It's a really interesting program. Today, the guest star on that program was Robert Plant, singer from Led Zeppelin. So it's an example of the type of people that would be on that show. So what was I going to say now? So there's 2 ways of doing this. I could try and select 4 songs, but I'm not really very good at that. I'm not very good at compiling. I'm not very good at ranking. Purely just I could never make my mind up, and I would feel like I was betraying some of the records that I couldn't choose or whatever. So it's the sort of thing I would lose sleep over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pragmatic approach to this, and I'm going to choose 4 albums that have an element of longevity about them, and records that are quite lengthy, and albums that have a sort of a huge amount of content as well, I suppose. The point being really is there's no telling really how long I'm going to be on this desert island. So I want something that I'm going to be able to get my teeth into, something that's going to provide quite a lot of variety, rather than just sort of having the 3 or 4 minute pop song or whatever that you're just going to get sick of. Oh yeah, and they would be 4 records that I perhaps don't know so well, because I think you can kill music by listening to it too much if you listen to the same songs. And the first time I did this bit on the video, I think I said about how when I was younger I discovered quite early on that certain music stars that I just listened over and over and over again, I kind of killed them a little bit. So T-Rex is a good example. I mean, I like T-Rex, don't get me wrong, but I seldom put them on for the hell of it. If anything, it's a bit of a nostalgia trip for me just to remember how I used to like listening to T-Rex before. A little bit the same with David Bowie. I really kind of over-listened to him. Hendrix is another good example. I listened to so much Hendrix. Now I sort of, I don't enjoy it quite as much. By the time I discovered Led Zeppelin, I'd worked that sort of thing out. So I'd say Led Zeppelin is probably one of my favourite rock bands, if not the favourite, and I nearly never listen to them purely because I don't want to kill them for myself. I want to be able to sort of pull it out on my birthday or a special occasion and really enjoy it. So the albums that I would wish to have on the Desert Island Disc would not only be big and lengthy records, they'd also be ones that I don't know too well. So I've got a fair amount of learning to do as well, which is quite good. So yeah, that's my bit. Now back to the old video. Anyway, so back to the questions. So first one I'm going to show is this. I'm playing it in the background slightly. This is Genesis, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. Everybody knows it's a double concept album. Came out in 1974. It's lovely because it's in this gatefold. It's got sort of quite a thorough description of what that's all about. And I think, to be honest, I think this would really give me something to sink my teeth into. In a Slave, the lyrics, while I was stuck on the Desert Island Disc. Well, I was, to be honest with you, this would give me something to really sink my teeth into while I was stuck on this desert island, with little or nothing else to do other than listen to records that I kind of grabbed. So that's that. This is a really good record. I mean, I've known this one for a long time, but out of all the Genesis albums, I think this is probably the one that I'm least familiar with, purely because of its length. Some people say, don't they, about some of these really long records that they could be edited down. It's not unusual to hear people say that about the White Album, for instance, by the Beatles. Which songs would they pull out to condense it, to make it more condensed. But to be honest with you, I think, sometimes you can have these lengthy things and, yeah, they don't need to be so closely trimmed and edited. A lot of the beauty is in just sort of the fine details and, just the amazing music. You don't have to cut it all back. Why would you do that? Anyway, so that's my first record that I would want for longevity and, variety. Next album I'm going to show in a similar vein, and that is this. It's got a little bit of writing on the front, sadly, but this is the big double overblown Yes album. Tales from the Topographic Ocean. Now this is an interesting record. I've had this many years. And I've tried to listen to it and really get into it, and I've only just scraped the surface. I love long, complex music, but because there's 4 tracks of roughly equal length on this, I found it really hard to penetrate. The first track I think I've had most success with, The Revealing Science of God. But the other 3 are still there. So on the Desert Island Disc, got Nothing But Time. I can really sort of spend a long time getting to know this record. Everybody I've spoken to about this that say they like it or they hold it up as one of the greatest Yes albums, they all say stick with it, stick with it, you'll get there eventually. And that's probably what I would most likely be doing on the Desert Island with this. Again, for practical reasons, my third record I would choose would be Quadrophenia. If you haven't listened to Quadrophenia, you've got to listen to it. It's brilliant. Really good record. Again, lots to read. A double concept album. It's not really progressive rock. It's just rock opera. lots of lyrics to really seek into, beautiful pictures. So with this, I wouldn't just be getting fantastic music. I'd also be getting, you know, the entertainment of an epic story. You know, the pictures are here to sort of ignite the images in my mind while I'm listening to it. And there's lots of these pictures. Beautiful, beautiful album. And again, this would really keep me going. A lot of people say, just like the other one I showed, Lamb That Lies Down on Broadway, that this could have been really edited back. I disagree. I like its grandiosity. I like its long drawn out pieces. I like the fact that it's not all you know, just one big long singing. There's one big long song. There's lots of instrumental passages that are amazing. I mean, Keith Moon, this record's worth the price alone just to hear Keith Moon play in this sort of epic, spectacular way. So that's my third record. Last record, I would go for a compilation. I've got some good compilations. I really like compilations from the past, you know, the 60s or the 70s, particularly those that, you know, they often blend some well-known established acts, and they often shuffle in some lesser-known artists and bands, and that's always good, because you know, otherwise you wouldn't necessarily discover them. And what's good about them is, well, they bring them to your attention, and I like that. It's always fun to discover new artists. Now this is a compilation called Small Text, The Big Ball. I think I bought this in the States, and it's a really good compilation. It's got a good mix of artists from the 60s and the 70s, very early 70s I suppose you'd say. A fair bit to read. Some good stuff on the inner sleeves. Oh, sorry, on the gatefold sleeves. Lots of really interesting bands. I'll give you a flavour of what's on here. So the first side, for instance, is the Fifth Avenue Band. I don't know who they are. Bound to be good. John Sebastian. I know a little bit about him. I know he was sort of a peaceful guy in the 60s, wasn't he? I think. Beach Boys. Well, that's good, because I'm going to be on a beach, aren't I? So, you know, with desert island and everything. So I'll probably want that kind of surfing sensation happening. Then we've got Jeff and Maria Mulder, whoever they are. Ario Guthrie, Eric Anderson, Norman Greenbaum, Savage Grace, and then side 2 we've got Van Morrison, Fleetwood Mac, Pentangle, Jethro Tull, Small Faces. I loved Small Faces, and it's a track off their first album. So that's brilliant. And then Family. I don't know much about Family. They're a British prog band. Don't believe I've actually got any of their records. The Kinks, again, you know, it's going to be fantastic. And then side 3, Everly Brothers, Tim Buckley, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, Randy Newman, Gordon Lightfoot, James Taylor, got a certain theme going on there, I think, Dion. And then on side 4 we've got, what we got, Ed Sanders, the GTOs, Captain Beefheart. Whatever you think of Captain Beefheart, he's got a track on here. The GTOs, Mother of Invention, Wild Man Fisher, Pearls Before Swine, and the Grateful Dead. You know, it's a really good comp. Lots of music on there, and being, yeah, like I said, stuck on this desert island, I'm really going to appreciate this to fill my time and give me some quality listening. Okay, Midge, I hope that satisfies your questions. I hope there's, you hope you get a few entries on this, and thanks for setting it up. You haven't been around very long, have you? So you've got some way to go with your subscribers, but I don't put too much attention on subscribers. I've been doing this for a few years now, and I don't know, just past 600. But I know some people really kind of pursue the subscribers to the point where it starts to take over, and their channel is no longer kind of about the music or the records that they enjoy. It just becomes about pursuing subscribers. I hope you don't do that. I always think, you know, I'd rather have 50 subscribers that I kind of interact with and have a good chat with than 5,000 that you can't possibly keep up with 5,000 subscribers, can you? That's my view. Anyway, thanks very much. Check out my next video, everybody. Thanks. Bye.